It is, what is it? December 2nd, 2020, and I call the planning board meeting to order. Angela, if you would please do physical roll call. Verbal roll call.
All right, let's see. Deb Burrows.
Here.
Kayla Goddard.
Here.
David Christensen.
Here.
Michael Provencher.
Here.
Edward Zelmanow.
Here.
Lori Anthony.
I am here. A
Dwayne.
quorum has been met. So we can continue on with tonight's meeting. The agenda, we're going to swap up the agenda. We have a client tonight, so if there is no one that disagrees, I would like to start with new business and do minutes of previous minutes after. Okay, so I see everybody's shaking their head, and most people shaking their head. So we will move that to behind new business and public hearings. Jeff is here representing the applicant. Would you like to give a presentation or a brief?
Sure. I'll give a brief summary of the project. I'll introduce myself. So my name is Jeff Reed. I work with CV Mahar Engineers. We were the design engineer working with HEP Waterboro SPV for this 4.86 megawatt solar array project. The project will consist of roughly a 20-acre solar development on a 137-acre parcel located off McLucas Road, just a little bit west of here. The property is identified as Lot 51, Tax Map 7, and it's located, as Glenn had pointed out in his staff memo here, in a split zone district. We're in the Conservation and Forest and Agriculture District. I'd like to share a screen just so that I can show everybody just kind of an overview of the project here. I'll try to expand this to full screen mode to blow that up a little bit. This is a picture of the array overlaid on an aerial photo. You can see, follow my cursor here, McLucas Road is located to the north, so the parcel is actually located south of the road. The point of access would be at the eastern portion of the lot. We're planning to utilize an existing, I'd call it a curb cut. There's no curb, but there's a previous site entrance there, and we're gonna come in, cross a creek, and basically access the array. The array itself is divided into an eastern cell and a western cell, based on what we thought were going to be the optimal locations on the site to capture solar exposure and everything else. The access road will be roughly 3,000 feet long. So the western cell is going to be about a little less than 7 acres. The eastern cell over here is going to be approximately 11 acres. The entire array is going to be enclosed with a chain link fence for security. The land was previously partially harvested. The area inside, oops, a little feedback there too. The area inside the array footprint is going to be cleared and then rough graded to slopes of less than 20%. A lot of the area is that already, but some high spots we're going to have to knock down, again, just to improve and enhance the performance of the array itself. After the work is done, these areas are going to be revegetated with a meadow mix so that they can provide some stormwater treatment and stabilize the ground surface as well. So when we evaluated the project, we did find some natural resources on the parcel. It includes a stream, wetlands, and a vernal pool. This array layout also minimizes involvement with those resources. With the current design, we have zero wetland impact. We've managed to avoid the critical terrestrial habitat for the vernal pool, so there's no impact there. We will have slight impact on the stream because we have to cross it with the access road on the way in. Right now, there's a current crossing there that we anticipate, we pretty much know we're going to have to improve. So that will require a NERPA, Natural Resource Protection Act, permit by rule application with Maine DEP. The project, based on the size and being less than 20 acres, will also trigger a stormwater permit by rule with DEP as well. In the application, we had outlined that we'd plan to complete those and submit those in the month of November. We have not submitted those at this point just because we have a little bit of work left to do in coordinating some of the road with code and the fire department. And once those issues are finalized, we can prepare and submit those applications. Turnaround on both of those in terms of review is they're fairly straightforward apps. They're easy to prepare pretty quick, and the review period on those is typically a matter of 2 weeks. So those aren't an immensely time-sensitive permit requirement. Glenn also outlined the project will require a building permit from the town. And my intent here tonight to present, I understand we're looking at multiple meetings here between initial presentation, possibly site walk, public hearing. I just kind of wanted to get the ball rolling, introduce the project to the board, answer any questions so that as we fine-tune these items, we can include your comments as well and get the ball rolling with any sort of scheduling for additional, like I said, site walks, public hearings, that sort of thing, get on the books. That, in a nutshell, is the project. It's fairly straightforward. Again, there's a code issue that we're coordinating with Glenn and with Mike, the fire marshal. Fire marshal.
Captain
Fire
Fraser.
Chief? Captain
Yeah.
Fraser.
Yeah.
And we plan to have those issues worked out before the next meeting.
Thank you.
Are there any questions on the project?
Go ahead and stop the screen share.
Yeah, could you stop the
I
screen
can,
share?
yeah.
Some of my members are there.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thank you very much. Kayla, you have something right off.
Yeah, just compared to the other ones that we've seen recently, what is your plan for any pesticide, herbicide, cleaning chemicals, use of anything like that in that area for maintaining the array?
We're not anticipating a whole lot. These systems, pretty much you install them and they operate. I do have Bob Patton here with me. He's dialed in. He is with HEP. Bob, do you have anything to add to that in terms of, the question was on chemicals and maintenance required to maintain the array?
That would be cleaning chemicals.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Herbicides and of that nature.
Right.
Pesticides.
I know herbicides and pesticides we're not really anticipating.
Perfect.
No. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So, this, the type, well, let me back up again a little bit. My name's Bob Patton. I'm with HEP Energy. Our offices are right in downtown Portland, Maine. I'm a Maine resident, been here forever and a day. Spent some time working Central Maine Power Company, managed rivers for FPL Energy, including the Saco River, not too far from where you guys are. Did some development of wind projects across the state, but have always been, sort of a down-home guy. We, like our projects, we do them here in Maine. We try to hire locally every chance we get. So we're very pleased CV Mahar and Jeff agreed to come aboard and help us with this project. They have a really good track record, and we're happy to be associated with them. Everybody has a thumbprint on this project since day one has been a Mainer, and we're going to try to keep that going as we go forward. That's who we are. We love hiring our neighbors, putting food on the table, and paying taxes here in our state. These projects, typical of solar projects, once they're built, usually the schedule for taking care of the The vegetation is twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. The panels are up high enough off the ground for a couple of reasons. First of all, when they collect snow, in wintertime when the snow slides off, we want to make sure that there's enough distance between the lower edge of the panels and wherever that pile of snow is. Once you get any sort of shadow on the panel, it really affects dramatically the power output. So the panels are up fairly high, which again gives us a chance to only have to go in a couple times a year to mow. We would be hiring someone local to do the mowing. It would be mechanical mowing. We don't intend to use herbicides. There may be some like gasoline that may come onto the site, to fuel the equipment. But aside from that, typical types of, chemicals that you would use to operate and maintain the equipment that would cut the vegetation. We don't intend to have anything else there. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I was just confirming that there was going to be no application of pesticide or herbicides. And as far as the panels, do you need a cleansing agent to take care of those? I know some are kind of self-cleaning and need minimal maintenance that way.
Yeah, no, very good question. As panels are deployed around the United States, different areas have different issues with whether it be pollen or dust or birds or whatever. Typically in Maine, no, we just let them sit. There are different sheens that are put on the panel faces. They now have them for eyeglasses and stuff that keeps the dust and the pollen and stuff from building up. There would be nothing in our O&M plan to go out and do any sort of treatment on these. Rainwater usually does that well enough here.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks for the question.
David? Does anybody on Zoom have any other?
Yeah, David.
David? Yeah, go ahead, David.
Yes, I'm not unmuting. On our previous approved projects of this nature, we've been concerned about at some point when the project closes, either due to business concerns, whatever, that there be a funded plan in place to remove and restore the site. And to that extent, we've asked that they provide both an estimate of what that cost would be in writing and a surety bond to be in place for the life of the project to assure that cleanup would be properly funded. Any comment on that requirement?
Bob, most of these questions are for you. We did not prepare or submit a decommissioning plan or a cost estimate or prepare a bond for as part of the application that we had pulled together for this submittal, just because it wasn't an item that was included in the ordinance as one of the site plan requirements. I know that there are other arrays and other systems that have put that sort of thing together. Bob can probably speak to the long-term performance of these systems and the end users and some of the agreements that are in place right now that are, I think we're talking about 20 years or so, Bob?
Yeah, I'll wait in here for just a second, Jeff. Thanks. So, as a result of legislation that occurred not this past June, but the one before, the state of Maine has sort of opened the doors and encouraged the development of small-scale solar projects. And this is one of those. It's a net energy billing system. Part of the requirements that it has to be under 5 megawatts. For our typical 5 megawatt project, it's 20 acres or less. As we go out, then also in the legislation, it allows for 20-year offtake agreements. So we have agreements with, for this particular site, a blue ribbon panel of people who have agreed to buy the power that's coming out of the site for the next 20 years. That includes LL Bean, Pratt & Whitney, University of Maine System, Nestle Waters, so blue ribbon folks. The construction of this project, it's going to be, roughly speaking, depending on what we do with the road, $6 to $7 million all in. We go to market to get funding for that. There's sort of a sandwich of debt and tax equity. So we go to a bank, we go to the markets to get the funding for that. So all of the people then who are involved in this project have a vested interest in ensuring that it runs for the full 20-year term. By the terms of our lease, we have an opportunity to extend it if things are going well and the landowner's happy. So from our point of view, also, one final thing, if you look at the folks who are invested from a tax equity point of view, they essentially get paid back in the first 7 years. The banks get paid back over the next 15 years total. So all of those folks, including the off-takers, and for this one here we have, believe it or not, 23 different entities who will be buying power from us, all here in the state of Maine. All of them have a strong vested interest in ensuring that, first of all, it's built right, and we use all top-tier projects or products when we put this in, that it's maintained properly so that nothing interferes with its ability to capture the sun's energy and turn it into electricity, and also provide the revenue stream for the banks and for the owners. So understand about your concern. I know that I've had done wind development in my past, for better or worse, a bunch of larger projects in the state. Have my thumbprint on them someplace or another. So I'm familiar with the concern about what happens, when in 20 years, when the lease runs out and our PPAs run out. But for these, I don't see it as a real big issue myself. Again, it's not like we're going to walk away from it in a year or 2 or 5 or 10. These suckers are going to be running for the next 20 years.
Yes, David?
Mr. Patton, I hear you loud and clear, and I understand the business plan as well as the commitments that others have made to supporting it. At the end of the day, though, what we're talking about is trying to avoid, in the event of obsolescence or some unexpected business issue, or at the end of your 20 years, having a junkyard as a result because of someone's inability or unwillingness to fulfill the lease obligation that you have to restore or whatever it is. Therefore, the concern about a surety bond to assure the funding be in place. So I believe that's a reasonable requirement. It's not an excessive funding requirement. It's just simply a matter of good administration on the part of the town, and at least on the part of the planning board.
Before you answer, Bob, could I just remind the planning board that this is a site plan application review, and it's really not meant to work out and hash out details. And I know everybody wants to do that all in one night, but if you could keep it to a more general, is this application going to move forward tonight? I'd appreciate it. Yes, David?
No, I certainly understand that, Lori. I think it's just a matter that consistency, that we raise these issues so that the applicant is aware that these are concerns and that they should be prepared to address them.
And bringing them up so that they may know what they're going to encounter at the real site plan review is great. And I definitely appreciate giving them a heads up, but if we could just not do the detailed nuts and bolts of a site plan review, I'd appreciate that, just so we could get, to tonight, whether this application is going to be approved or not, okay?
So can I just ask what we are doing here tonight?
We are here to find if this application is complete. This is their first night here.
Because I'm just reading, site plan review, discussion, approval of application.
Right. Of the application. Lee J., could you step in? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Yeah, in general, I agree that, I mean, you're not getting into the nuts and bolts of the application, but as you see in my memo, there are a number of issues that this applicant still needs to address. I don't know that they are completeness issues, because if you look at your application submission requirements, I would suggest that they, and of course it's your call, but I would suggest that they probably have met the requirements to find the application complete. And then setting a date for your site walk if you choose to do so, and a date for a public hearing. However, that doesn't preclude the board from raising some of these bigger issues for the applicant to be aware that they need to be looking at this. One of the things that Mr. Christensen mentioned, you know, there's an equity issue here, and clearly this applicant needs to be aware that this board will condition this application on the need for a decommissioning plan and a cost that will require a bond or letter of credit that will be good for the life of the project in the name of the town of Waterboro. So, I mean, I don't think that should go unnoticed.
Oh, no, and I did, and I do, and it's been brought up, but to go, my concern is to go back and forth on every single detail tonight.
I completely understand that.
Okay. Because I'm going to bring up.
I do think, though, that the applicant does need to hear these issues from this board and understand that there are several issues, again, as you can see from my memo, that are going to need to be addressed before this application is completed.
We will address all of those, yes. We will address all of those. David, did you have anything? Did you want to?
I just had a quick question. So, Lee J. prepared a memo of the application review. Was that specifically to the board, or is that something that we could get a copy of?
That is, I believe you can get a copy.
Okay.
But no, he is our
he's your planner.
man. He
Sure.
is our planner, so he has recommendations that he suggests to us. Yes.
And that would be great if we could get a copy of that memo. That would be helpful for us.
Is that possible? Yep, you will have it.
Excellent.
Chair?
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Patton, the request for there to be a bond for decommissioning and sort of restoring the property to what it is now. I'm not sure what value that would be, because I think it's clear-cut property right now. I don't think it's forested, correct?
It's partially, I think, mostly harvested.
Yeah. The reason why I would support asking for that is because we've set a precedent with the other two sites in town. So if we didn't do that for you,
sure,
it would have been fair of us to ask that of them.
No, I'm aware.
I would just be prepared for it.
Okay, thank you.
Also, on that same general thing, this is exempt from taxes. Because I was wondering if you were going to provide what was called a paid, what is that called? Pilot?
Well, Bob can explain this. I know that we're not exempt, for example, from like property tax. So there'll be property taxes on this system in this array. But I think what you're talking about, and Bob, weigh in here because you understand this a whole lot better than I do, in terms of the tax advantages and the opportunities for the town to apply for some of that benefit down the road. Could you elaborate on that?
If I may, and again, this is somewhat evolving. So the property taxes itself will remain as they always have. These facilities are considered personal property, so as you guys are familiar, that's a different taxation method. The recent legislation that has been passed by the state, then, although these are considered tax exempt, the town is encouraged to submit a value to the state, and the state will reimburse the town for 1/2 of the assessed value of the project. So again, from the development point of view, from the developer's point of view, they're tax exempt, but the state will compensate.
Yes, David?
Just a quick, Mike.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we understand that this is outside the scope of the
Can you
plan.
guys speak up, because this is the microphone for the Zoom, and I'm getting the message that you're not as loud as.
Okay, taxation isn't part of the discussion that I believe the planning board should be engaged in, as it has nothing to do with the decision as to whether we approve or disapprove this project, or any part of the review. I just would urge us to stay away from it as we were advised in prior discussions.
I can't hear him. I can't hear him.
Just as a way of a point of interest or clarification, you are correct, David, and we have long discussions about taxation issues, and the board does not make decisions based on taxation. The town administrator does have the ability to enter into negotiations separately for part of a pilot program called pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. So, the differentiation between the better program, which is where the state will reimburse the community, the administrator does have the ability to negotiate something above and beyond, but that is not something that this board will consider as part of their review.
Thank you, Lee Jane. Anybody else?
Kayla?
No. My turn. Oh, wait, Kayla, go
No, I
ahead.
saw she had her hand up. Sorry.
Kayla, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Just one more brief question. I know in the issues of concern about this application, there's no survey provided. Can we find this complete without an actual survey? That might be a Lee J.
Yes, so here's the issue. It's kind of twofold, but that's a great question to follow up on from the memo. The current submission requirements in the ordinance do not require a survey. However, that does not preclude the planning board from asking for a survey if they feel one is needed for the project. We've raised the issue because we have found, between Glenn and I, numerous areas where the tax maps, which were used for determining the property boundaries, are not necessarily close to even being accurate. Now, that's not a slight on the town, other than the fact that tax maps are only a picture of what may exist out there for someone to be taxed on. So we are suggesting that a survey ought to be required, not as a completeness issue, but as part of this application, so that we can confirm the boundary locations. One of the reasons I think Glenn has a memo that may be in your packet that suggests that, there are setbacks and buffers that need to be met. And so it's important that we're accurate on that, because there are certainly opportunities, especially in this area, where information is not 100% accurate.
Yep, go ahead.
There's a memo from Glenn as well as the memo from Major Park, and if the applicants don't have copies of those, they need to have copies of those, I think.
They have copies.
Sorry, could I unmute myself?
Go ahead.
So, yes, I have a copy of Glenn's memo. I did get a copy of the memo from BJ.
We got a whole bunch of feedback when we do that.
Sorry. Okay, I'm muted now.
Okay.
So you have to unmute me?
The room is mic'd, Kelly.
We're picking you up with a room mic.
Gotcha, okay.
Just speak up a little.
Okay. So, so I have a copy of Glenn's memo dated December 1st, and I also have a copy of the Waterboro Fire Department memo, also dated December 1st. The memo that I did not have was the memo that Lee J had prepared, outlining his review of the application. To get back just to the survey real quick, if I could, that's an item that we are aware of. We have a group that we're working with. It's Norse, Northern Survey Engineering, and we are prepared. We understand the issue with tax maps. We do this a lot, and our intent is to bring them in once we work through these last remaining items and have everything finalized. Just to be upfront, it's not our intent to do a full boundary survey of the entire 137-acre parcel, but we do want to make sure that we identify property lines, adjacent to the array, so that we can make sure that we're adhering to the proper setback requirements outlined in the ordinance. Is that an acceptable approach?
Madam Chair,
Certainly.
Okay.
the building permit process requires a surveyor to verify the structures meet the setbacks. So whether they do it now or do it later, it's going to get done.
Yes, along with property line confirmation, and probably not so much clearing this time, but we'll see.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Glenn.
Lori, just a heads up, Lee J has lost us.
There he is.
Lee J has lost us, and I'm going to have him read his recommendations at the end of the meeting anyways, so he definitely will address all the concerns so everybody understands. Now me, number one, the existing conditions and clearing plan is 1 in 200. We require no more than 1 in 100 and 2 feet less humps. The overall is fine, and all I'll say is the erosion control and the site plan to be similar plans, and very hard to see.
Which is part of the scale issue.
Yes, that 100 scale at this size of a site, that would be very difficult for anyone that knew how to read plans to distinguish any features on these plans. My other question, have we heard from the Public Works Director?
David did weigh in on the staff review with Captain Fraser. Their feelings are the same, that the road, the interior roads need to meet an FPA 1 of 20 feet. And that is one of the conditions.
And that will come up, yeah.
Yep, and that's one of the conditions that, Jeff said that they're working with Captain Fraser and Glenn to resolve, but he had no other input with regards to.
So he looked at the grading, he looked at the ditches, he's fine with all of that.
Yep, he was out on site and had no input.
Okay. What's the site slopes in the middle of that first plot? It looks like most of it is 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
And then there seems to be, can you build those at 3 to 1 along the side of the road bank?
So, for that section, we believe that we can. Yeah, I mean, for sustained slopes, it depends on the racking manufacturer that you're using. Some, most, kind of the rule of thumb is a 20% slope. There are others, newer racking and panel layout systems that can still perform optimally on up to a 30% slope. For that small portion of the area, we believe we're all set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vernal pool definitely needs to be collected on the plan. It's listed as potential vernal pool.
And that's the way it was provided to us by our natural resource folks. The issue with that is that it was identified in the fall, and you need to look at those in the spring. Right, there'll be some follow-up with that.
Okay, and, I mean, it meets the setback, so it's not an issue, but.
We put that on there for that very reason. We haven't been able to go back and do the work yet. That'll be done in the spring. But the intent was to stay out of there, so it wasn't an issue at all.
And you are not, there was mention of a bridge, you're putting in culverts instead?
That is something that we're going to have to work through with DEP. Because I suspect, that was identified as a stream. As you're aware, there are certain requirements for that. You need 1.2 times the bank width and stream smart design. So culverts versus bridge is something that we're going to have to work out with DEP in terms of what they're going to require, which is why we included on the plan, the note that went back to actually the fire chief's comment about designing to be able to accommodate emergency vehicles.
And eventually I'm gonna, we just recently, were they informed, I saw the draft of the abutters notification. Is the abutters list still being populated?
They actually sent that to me and updated, they sent one. I sent it back because they had to go out to 500 feet instead of 300 feet.
Yeah.
They sent me a new one today, which I sent back a couple more that were listed on their list, but they are included on the plans.
So that's still being populated?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else in the room?
I have one question.
Sure.
When is the construction proposed for this? What are you thinking is the timeline?
Well, I think we're looking at springtime, aren't we? For construction? Well,
I'm sorry.
And the microphone is away from me, so I'll try to be a little bit louder. So the question was on the construction schedule and when we'd be looking to start work on this project.
His mic's...
Mike, your mic is muted. You're muted.
How about that?
Much better.
That's what we hear all day now.
My schedule is to go next year, but just to I guess, inform the folks that currently going into the second year of solar EOA, not many projects got built this year, and so going into next year, there will be a real demand for manpower and electricians to put up the many projects that will be under construction next year. The intent is to begin construction, as soon as the snow is gone. But I think that there's going to be real world pressures trying to find the people to do it. I think this year there were 35 projects that went under construction. Jeff, you would be able to correct me on that. I believe next year there'll be probably closer to 80 to 90 projects that are under construction. Maine doesn't have a lot of history of building solar projects, so this will be kind of new for a lot of folks. So finding a seasoned construction crew who can build it the way it needs to be built. And again, we have very high standards for how we build our sites. It might take us until late in the year before we can find those folks. Just saying, our goal again is to do it right after the snow is gone, to get on site and get it prepped. But there'll be a lot of pressure on finding a good work crew in May next year.
And I only ask because of I don't know what the condition of McLucas Road is. It's
to their proposed access, it won't be bad at all.
It's paved.
It is paved.
Just-
Okay, I know it turns to dirt at some point.
Yeah.
I just couldn't figure out where it was. I guess I was thinking in spring.
Yeah, but their portion is pretty bad.
Yeah.
David? Mr. Christensen, did you have your hand up?
I did not.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw you had your hand up. You done?
Yes, ma'am.
Lee J? For the
Yes.
record?
I'm set. I mean, I think you folks need to decide whether you want to find the application complete and set your dates for, public hearing and sidewalk.
Yes, David?
I don't know, we find the application complete.
We have a motion, find the application complete. Michael has seconded that motion. Angela, when you're ready.
No more discussion.
I'm not gonna find everybody. Kayla,
Yes.
Deborah,
Yes.
David,
Yes,
Michael,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Lori.
No.
Alrighty. Motion passes to find the application complete.
Okay.
5-1.
It's fine.
So you want to decide if you're going to do a site walk and when you want that site walk to occur.
Are we gonna do a sidewalk? Well, actually, may I ask a question first before we start hammering that out? How accessible is the site?
So,
Are you asking me or are you asking the
I'm
applicant?
asking the applicant, BJ. I didn't expect you to know that.
Madam Chair,
Or,
you have good access to the entrance of the site. The topography of the rest of the site is going to be difficult to traverse by foot.
Very steep.
yeah.
Do we need a sidewalk?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
you wouldn't?
No, a site walk's not going to tell you anything. It's going to show you a bunch of dead leaves on the ground and some wild animals rummaging for food. Site walk's not going to help in your decision.
I don't, it's, like you said, it's not gonna show us anything just
Nope.
because it's steep and it's wooded and.
Right.
On Zoom, feelings? Is there anybody in favor of a sidewalk? No. David, yes or no on the sidewalk?
I don't believe it's necessary.
You guys?
Yeah, it's not necessary. We're not looking for any issues regarding screening or buffering.
No, it's
So,
in the middle of the woods.
yeah.
Right.
Public hearing. David?
Yes, we should have a public hearing.
Definitely up for me,
I think we need one.
yeah.
We're supposed
Michael?
to.
Yeah, we have to.
We have to.
Keeler and Deb, your feelings on a public hearing? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I would just ask how long the applicant needs to start getting everything finalized so we can know when the public hearing should be scheduled for.
I'd like to schedule it for the next meeting. I think we can get everything squared away and turned around by then.
What, the 16th?
Yeah, December
Yes.
16th.
Or the, is it the 16th?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the 16th,
Yeah.
Okay.
June 14th.
Sure.
You gonna be ready by then?
So that would put your abutter notifications going out no later than Friday.
And they've been working with you on
Now, the plan is
that.
going to be revised, based on comments, or we're going to wait and have that discussion at the next meeting?
No, our plan is to, after tonight, like I said, I was hoping to have a discussion with Code and Fire, just to work through those issues. Once we get your memo, we should be able to work through the rest of those and update the plan into a final condition.
By the 16th?
Yep.
DJ, satisfied with that?
Yes, but I think we'll need to have, Jeff, maybe you and I, can have a side email or conversation, because there are some other things that haven't come up in my memo that are going to need to be, discussed.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry?
I said that's great. Yep, I'd like to do that.
All right. All right, I mean, just things you need to be aware of going into, final reviews and approvals.
Okay.
Are we ready? May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we have a public hearing.
Oh, we don't have to do that, right? We just scheduled.
Well, we have to table this to the
Oh, okay.
public hearing.
Let's.
Need a motion to table.
No, we don't. I
No?
thought we.
Otherwise, it's just sitting out there in the ether.
EJ, I need your help.
You're actually making a motion to.
I'm sorry, I was doing something else.
That's all right.
What's the?
Right,
No,
we're supposed to.
You've done the application complete.
Right, that's what I'm supposed to do now, is to find the application complete.
You've done that, so now you want to set the date for the public hearing.
We have set the date for the public hearing.
So you're all set. You just need to, you're done.
That's what I thought, but that's okay, just wanted clarification. Thank you, EJ.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. You'll get the plans ready and we'll see you on the public hearing.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
One.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
Is everybody, the next item on the agenda is minutes. Has everybody reviewed the minutes for November 18th, 2020? Angela, did you get my corrections done? I did. They weren't distributed though, right?
Yeah.
They
we
went
go.
out to email and then these guys got them in their packets with them, so yeah.
Has everybody reviewed those? Yes, David?
Well, I think they're fine with your changes.
With my changes, thank you. You guys, you all set?
I wasn't at the meeting, so I,
Okay, the minutes for November 18th, 2020 are accepted as written with corrections. We have no old business. Is there any communications? No? VJ, nothing to communicate today?
I'm sorry, I was just working, but I'm good.
yeah,
I'm all set.
way down there.
I just assume everybody can hear
I
me.
know, I do too. No, it's that, we should probably move the microphone to the middle of the room.
The webcam on it, I was just talking with Gary about that, I'm gonna see about a unidirectional
Yeah.
USB mic we can drop in the ceiling.
Cool.
The next item,
Move to adjourn.
no,
Shucks.
you tell me. The next item is miscellaneous, and some stuff has come up, which I have. There was, the first thing that came up, and you have seen these emails from, on the website, on the email. Some questions have been asked and clarifications. The first one was on findings of fact, that I'm paying the order. First one was findings of fact And historically, we had been having all members who approved those that document come in and sign them. But it has been really tough to do that in a reasonable amount of time. We have, and I say we, it's been me, Lee J, Gary, and some of this stuff has gone through Natalie. But I need, since this is a board, everybody has a say, and as far as I'm concerned, everybody needs to say. The findings of facts, like I said, we used to, whoever approved them, signed them. Because Natalie okayed it, we only got 4 signatures on the last findings of fact, and we released them to the applicant.
That's okay.
So you had a quorum of signatures?
Right.
Yes, we had a quorum of signatures, but in saying that, there's also another option. As long as it's voted majority, and if the board is okay with this process, or the quorum process, anybody that voted to approve findings of facts, we can just list the names of all members who approved it, and then the only signature could possibly just be me.
That's what we did in Gorham.
So those are the 3 options that, and Gary, those are the 3 options that I had in my head, but Gary would like to add something. Go ahead, Gary.
The point Natalie was making is that in your motion, it would state that everybody's approving those minutes as well as you being the only signatory.
I would be signing for all of you. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, the way we had handled it is that in our conditions of approval, that all members of the board voting to approve the application is authorizing the chairperson to sign on behalf of the board. That way you don't actually have to say it at every meeting that it comes up. It's in the conditions already. So by approving it, you're agreeing that we're authorizing the chairperson to sign for us.
Can we take your work on Angela to have that text as a template for every findings of fact, and that would make it simpler on everyone?
Yes, yeah, especially Angela. So I would like to hear which option everybody would like to go with as a board.
I think you know my vote.
I know your vote, but say it for the record.
For the record, I believe that in the conditions of approval, that the board should be authorizing the chairperson to sign the findings on fact on behalf of the entire board.
Plenty, more than enough. Michael?
My feelings are that if you approve something, you should sign it. But if you're going to have a vote,
Well, we may have to.
form that approves
That's why I'm getting,
that would be the way it goes.
I'm
But
getting everybody's opinion, because if it
So,
comes to a vote, you
let's
will.
say you vote no to findings of fact, you wouldn't sign that to me. You'd sign it if you approved it, and it would only get moved forward. It would only be accepted if you had a quorum anyways. So if you got 4 people that say yes, those 4 people's signatures should be on there because their vote is what approves it. I understand your process.
Right, but it's still reflected in the minutes, who's approved it, so.
However, minutes are not approved.
No, but yes, they are approved, and they're part of the record.
Yep,
the minutes.
That's fine. Okay. Just getting opinions. David?
I know what you're saying.
Well, I would just chime in that the vote is sufficient. We not only have the minutes, but we have a video record of the meeting that is a core the voting that took place. The signatures are less relevant as a result.
So you're okay with the chairman signing in your behalf?
Yes.
Okay. Kayla?
I agree that the chairperson can sign based on the vote.
Deborah?
I agree with that as well, the chairperson can sign.
Okay. I believe, as Michael, that if you can approve something, you can come in and sign it within 2 weeks. But, if it comes to vote, I will be also okay with the chairperson signing my name. Do we need a vote?
You do need a vote.
Oh, we do need a vote.
And I changed the process.
We're amending a procedure, policy of the board.
Need a vote.
Angela,
Need
since
a motion? Need a second?
So
You need a
what's your
vote.
motion? What's
So, I need someone to make a motion.
So, that by our vote, findings of facts, to approve findings of facts, as recorded by our video and our minutes, that the chairman is authorized then to sign on behalf of the board.
Madam
Motion
Chair-
made, may I have a second?
Madam Chair, could we have Angela just read that?
Okay, Angela?
So she understands it?
Could you read that, what that is?
We just want to make sure you have it clear, because I didn't hear.
So Dave Christensen made a motion that based on video and minutes of the meeting and the vote, that to approve findings of facts based on those minutes and video, and that they're authorizing the chairperson to sign the findings of facts to release to the applicant.
We should just clarify that the vote, a majority vote of those of the quorum present.
Which would never.
We need actual language somewhere, like I mentioned before, in the conditions of approval, where the board is expressly authorizing the chairperson to sign the findings of fact on behalf of the board. That way, if you vote to approve it, you're approving that condition, which authorizes the chairperson to sign on your behalf. That's how it works out.
Lee J, were you going to work with Angela on the exact wording on the findings of fact template?
Yes, and, I mean, I take a little bit of a different position than that on that, I mean, the minute, it's very confusing, but the minutes are going to reflect the board's action. And the findings of fact, forget it. I mean, making this way too complicated. You know, I came up with the same position that Natalie came up with independently, and basically, Ben is allowed to sign the findings of fact once the application is approved.
And
And I think we don't need to go any further than that. Plenty of towns do it that way, but I will see what I can come up with Angela for some wording, but it ought to show up on the findings of fact, and not as a condition of approval as part of the application.
Agreed, I don't know where the conditions came from. It's just a statement saying,
It can say something at the bottom of the findings of fact can say something to the effect that based on the signature being provided by the chairman of the planning board, these findings of fact have been approved and authorized by the planning board's action with approval of the above noted project. I mean, we can come up with some wording, we can run it by Natalie if we need to, but, I mean, there's no legal way requiring anybody other than the chairman to sign the findings of fact.
all we're voting on
Exactly.
is if people are willing to have the chairman sign the findings of fact for them. That's it.
Yeah, this is very limited, this isn't changing all the wording or anything else, it's just simply saying it's okay for you to sign if the majority votes
going forward.
And I'd even go further and say that if you want to try it this way, I think with COVID still being in effect, this would be an appropriate thing so that you don't have everybody coming into town hall if they don't feel comfortable just to sign the findings of fact. The chairman is the only person that has to expose herself to going to town hall. Everything has basically been flipped on its head because of COVID. And if you want to give this a shot and go with it as a trial basis in the short term, I think that just having the issue of COVID and trying to limit exposure in town hall to people going in to sign a document, it makes perfect sense.
Yes, David?
We have a motion on the floor, we ought to just simply vote on it if we agree and move ahead.
We're trying to get the motions, could you repeat your motion, David? Please.
The motion was to permit the chairman to sign on behalf of the board if a majority of the quorum present votes in favor of the findings of fact. Votes to accept the findings of fact. Angela, is that close to right?
Yes.
May I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Kayla has made a second. And when you're ready, Angela, could you do both?
Is there a discussion? I know we already had a discussion, but after the second, it should be, right?
Yes.
So I want to make clear here that we're not doing this because of COVID. We're doing this as a permanent change, right?
Yes.
COVID's just a springboard.
Yep.
It's a passing thing.
Yep. Yes.
So why is this coming up anyway? Is there a problem with getting the members into the town hall to sign?
Yes.
COVID or no COVID?
Yes.
COVID or no COVID.
They're not
This
going to
has nothing to do with COVID. This is just a
Nothing to do with COVID, it's
thing.
just,
I merely raise that as an issue that can be done in the short term, as a way to use this as a pilot project.
it can be
If it
reversed.
doesn't work, we can change it.
And it should work, it'll speed things up.
It's not in stone, it can be changed if it does not work. May I have a vote now? Is there any further discussion? When you're ready, could you do roll call vote, please?
David Christensen,
Yes.
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Kayla Goddard,
Yes.
Michael Provencher,
No.
Edward Zelmanon,
Yes.
Lori Anthony.
Yes.
5-1, it passes.
Okay. This should be, I hope this is short. Historically, again, planning board members were issued PDFs of any plans that were emailable in size. And someone has requested or asked why it was no longer happening. And I don't think this is procedural. We're not changing anything. It's just historically, this person was correct. And they would like to again receive emails of the packages. But you still need to pick up your plans prior to the meeting. This is not in lieu of picking up your packages. Any comments, complaints? Yeah.
Yes. Historically, this department has always had a problem with the planning board members picking up information. I've been here almost 6 years, and that problem has been consistent. for 6 years. I could count on one hand the members that would faithfully pick up the information required in advance of the meetings. The problem is never going to go away unless we physically hand deliver them to the board members, which this office is not going to do. The planning board members chose to be on the planning board. They get minuscule payment, but they did volunteer to be on the board. I think the members have responsibility to pick up the packets and do their job to the best of their ability, and that ability is to pick up the information that Angela faithfully puts in a little cubicle for each member. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Thank you. Comments?
It'll say.
I think Angela does a great job putting all this together.
And she gets them ahead earlier, because
Yeah.
normally it was Friday afternoon when we got them.
It's a
She's
ton of
here.
work, and it comes all at once.
Anybody on Zoom, do you have any comments? Gary, go ahead. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, it's unfortunate Glenn couldn't be here tonight. He did raise that issue in the email to everybody, and I finally found out from another person that he was talking about PDFs and more digital documents than what his original email said. And my understanding is that Angela does, most if not all things by PDF when she can. But I talked to Roy, and I think everybody would hopefully agree that 24 by 36 plans should not be looked at on the home computer, even if you can issue it as a digital document. You just can't do that properly. So, I also got into real hot water with Angela by suggesting that we could deliver packets to people's homes if they want. I'm not suggesting that Angela would do that. It would probably be Liam or Pete Cody or maybe Charette. He and I are driving around town regularly. We can do that. Do I think we need to? No, I don't. But if it helps for the one or two people that may be out of town a lot, we're happy to do that. I think Glenn is spot on. It would be nice if packets were picked up on Fridays and Mondays, so you have a couple of nights to look at things. But that's beyond our control. That's you folks and your time commitments, et cetera. So
Gary,
that's all my comments.
and I appreciate, because we had a conversation, but my concern for the delivery also goes along with Glenn and Angela. Gary volunteered.
Moving forward, I can barely move forward towards that mic and set up.
Your microphone's over here.
Okay.
So you-
Gary and I had a conversation. I called him when I saw his email, very concerned. And he, because I wanted him, number one, to say who was gonna deliver these individual packets. And he said him and Glenn. Glenn, I think tonight has made it very clear it's not gonna happen, his department is not gonna do that. Gary, I don't know if you want to still extend that for delivering under extenuating circumstances and in a reasonable amount of time. I think we were talking about, and those arrangements would have to go through you. I do not agree with it. As Ed has stated, as Glenn has stated, we all signed up for this. We only meet twice a month. And it shouldn't be a hard time to sign documents and pick up our packets as expected. That's my opinion. And I guess I'll end there. Kayla would like to say something.
Just going off of that, how you had brought up extenuating circumstances, I guess I'm the odd duck out here, as I'm having another surgery in 2 weeks. So I will need to get my packets in an alternate method. And unfortunately, it's a recurring thing with me. And and I apologize for any inconveniences that causes on not picking it up promptly. But I do think extenuating circumstances should be included in finding a way to make that happen.
Yeah, and Carla, you do have extenuating circumstances. Any arrangements that you have made prior is fine. That is fine. And whoever you've been doing that with your surgeries is great. I only brought this up tonight because the individual wanted to make this standard procedure, and I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think, in some cases, it's the planning department's responsibility. We also have a responsibility to get the documents and sign things as we go through them. And that's the only reason I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do this as a group. Unfortunately, one person is missing. And then there was also one last thing, hopefully quickly, about having stuff mailed to them. That also came through on an email. It is my opinion, we are not using the United States Postal Service to deliver our packages. I am not for that at all.
Can I have my 2 cents here?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 cents before I get done, but,
Yeah.
the selectmen have and David probably will get mad at me, but, because we have a site that we go onto that our packets are loaded onto there once a week, or for every meeting. In the circumstances where we have prints that we gotta look at, or something that doesn't render down to a PDF, right, then certainly there are hard copies made for everybody. But I can't recall a time in the last 15 years that we haven't been able to put all of the selectmen's information onto that onto that portal, so that we don't have to come in and pick anything up. You just access the portal, and you have everything that you need. Now, in the planning board's case where you've got blueprints, that might be another issue, but for the general run-of-the-mill agendas, packets, background information, all of that stuff, convert it to PDF. Angela can do that and upload it once before the meeting, so that everybody has access to that site or that portal, so they can pull down the information. If they want to print it, they can print it. If they want to have it electronically, they can keep it electronically. But I haven't stopped in the town office in 15 years to pick up a packet, because it's online. So I would suggest that you at least do that.
Yes, and we could probably do that. I don't know what the limits are for the town.
There's no limit. We can do that easily. It'd be good for your preliminary reviews. The only thing you'd have a problem with is the large format stuff where you'd have to drag it all around. But I mean, at least for your preliminary stuff and any paperwork that's kind of fairly normal size would be.
Are you talking a site or emailing it to a member?
It would be FTP'd up. We'd give you a link to basically a website with a secure login for you guys.
Because there is a threshold where you cannot send an email over X amount of meg.
Correct. This you can put anything up.
And this was the bone of contention.
Yep.
We wanted them emailed to the individual members.
Yeah, you can. You're right.
This process would not email.
No, I know it wouldn't. And this is why, we're discussing this. there is a limit to what you can email out in PDF form.
Correct.
And
So is-
most of the, and as these projects get bigger, you're gonna get less of them that are gonna be able to be emailed. This package would not go through email, it would be too big.
Nope. No limit to the FTP site though.
But I did not know about an FTP site option.
We should try it.
I think we need to take steps forward to getting into the digital
Yeah.
phase of
I'm,
things.
I'm used to FTP, we do that all the time because my files are huge.
So-
If you could set up an FTP site where it's placed there for all of us to access, then, and then we still have our copies to pick up.
So my question is, we set this up, I upload everything. As I add stuff to the FTP site, you guys are still gonna have to get an email that, hey, there's more up there.
Shouldn't the FTP site do that automatically? Can't it be set for that?
No,
It doesn't have automatic notification?
not the one we're using.
Yeah,
It's
we're-
just-
Okay, because I know at work we have something like that.
Yeah, it's not too fancy, but it works.
Well, to me, you would check it as often as you check your
Lee
email.
J.
But yeah, an email, just, there's something.
Just have separate folders for each application on the site.
Established a rule a long time ago, noon time, Friday, it's uploaded. Anything after that, you know, then it's an exception. But if you don't have something in Angela's hands so that she can upload it, we'll say by Monday noon time or Friday noon time or whatever the case may be, then, you know, it doesn't get uploaded.
Thank you, Dennis.
And I don't think you have to get into, you know, all the minutiae of what ifs and how come and whatever. So,
Dennis, let me ask you a question. So, when your stuff is uploaded, it's uploaded once on like Friday,
yep,
once, not multiple times. So if we wanted to put an FTP site, and even if it was Friday or Monday, I would prefer Friday, that if it wasn't in, and if it wasn't here, after that, whatever is here on Friday will be uploaded to the FTP site. As I understand it, that's what you're saying, right, Dennis?
and we always, if you look at our agenda, we always have any additions or deletions to the agenda. That's at the beginning of the meeting. You know, so if something comes up between Friday noon and Tuesday night when we meet, you know, we deal with it by adding it to the agenda. But you got to remember that we have an obligation as a municipality to allow the public to know what we're going to talk about. So when an agenda gets published, it talks about, you know, it lists everything that's going to be discussed. So it eliminates the surprise or the perception of you know, well, they didn't even publish this and they talked about it and made a decision on something, you know, without it being publicly advertised. So we have an obligation to post what's going to be on the agenda, and, you know, we have a little caveat on our agenda to allow additions or deletions. Rarely use it now, Gary. I mean, we might, you know, occasionally do it, but, you know, if it misses that meeting, goes to the next meeting.
Yes, we do.
The only thing I want to raise, and I don't disregard the fact that trying to go digital more is important, but, you know, you got to be careful because there are going to be times if you have a good-sized project and someone wants to see the stormwater report, which is over 100 pages long, who's going to print that off for each one of you, where the applicant usually would be submitting multiple copies for all of you to get in town hall? And plan sets like was discussed, certainly it's one thing to try and look at them on a laptop at home, on a desktop at home, and you can blow it up if you want to see areas, but what are you going to have in front of you at the meeting? So paper is still going to be something you folks are going to need in order to have in front of you during the meeting, so be thinking about that aspect.
Thank you, EJ.
Yeah, you weren't talking about this as a replacement anyway,
This is
just
not a
as a
replacement.
supplement.
No, this is not a replacement for our paper copies that we get from the applicant. By no means. This is not a replacement. This is a convenience, just in case somebody can't access it and wants to start before they can get their paper copies. This is not a substitution.
It's also an archive.
That's all this is. And, you know, if someone requested something digitally, but this does not take the place of our packets. I said it in the beginning when I first started speaking, I'm going to say it one more time, and then I'm going to ask if the board would like to try having, in addition, one upload, once, yes, David, I see you, once, to an FTP site for review. And if you want to discuss a day, I think Friday or something, you prefer something else. It doesn't matter. I'm going to pick up my packet as I have done for the last 3 years. David.
I would like to know what the incremental workload is for Angela of doing this. Is this a pretty automated process of a scanner of just breaking down the packets? I mean, I'm looking at the pile of stuff we have just for tonight. The applications that have some fold-out pages, some not fold-out pages, you have stapled items. Does that all get broken down? How much time does that going to take Angela to do?
So part of it would just be a request from the applicant that they provide, which most do, digital copies of everything. Whether it be a single page, the whole packet, and then just changing Glenn's memos or Lee J's memos to PDF, and then loading everything up.
I was
Everything is,
assuming David was going to do that, or would you be doing it?
well, it'd be me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an added workload.
And it's literally the same as uploading the agenda, but the file takes a little longer to upload. The click and point and click process is no more than that.
You can't drag and drop.
Some of the preliminary save, drag and drop, but it's pretty painless, aside from maybe converting a few documents into PDFs. If you want to add stuff together, we can put Adobe Acrobat on the computer, and then you just add the files together pretty seamlessly. It's not extremely time consuming.
David, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Lori,
Yeah.
I hear what Dave is saying, but the members have to understand that Angela takes my calls. She takes walk-ins. She does searching for me. She does searching for Gary. So at any moment of time, her process is interrupted by myself, Gary, or any employee of the town. So when she's in the process of uploading stuff, it's not as easy as dropping in and clicking or pushing a button, because she's going to be interrupted when she does that. Once she's interrupted, now she's going to go back and determine, well, where did I leave off? And while she's thinking that, I'm coming back into her office and asking her, well, where is this plan? So the process isn't that easy when it's as busy as we are in this town. So I want everybody to know that she's a busy young lady, and Not everything is as easy as it is described.
And I will add to Glenn's statement, Angela also is the administrative assistant to the planning board and the ZBA. So any little function you add to Angela, yes, it seems little,
But it isn't.
It adds up.
it
Sure
all
does.
adds up. And I actually like the idea of the FTP side, as long as it's not painful for Angela.
She
And
just,
if it becomes a burden, then
We
Paying
just
for the making
our
copies.
our 50th home today in this town of Waterboro. That's a lot of homes.
and granted, this was only brought up because it had been done in the past and somebody wanted that luxury again. And I was asked if it could be brought up.
That's fine.
So I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, Gary.
I'd like to hear Dennis's comment, because I think I was about to make the same thing.
Dennis, please.
No more work than making a copy. When you start to make copies, all you do is scan it to a thumb drive, and you make it a PDF just as quick as you're gonna make a copy. So if you're gonna stand at the machine and make 12 copies of everything, or 10 copies of everything, or 6 copies of everything, as an aside, you get a PDF at the same time. You know, these new copy machines are wonders. So I understand where Glenn's coming from, but I think the fact of the matter is I don't see this as a dramatic change to the flow of work in Angela.
Gary, do you have anything to add to Dennis's statement? David?
Did you say David or Gary?
Gary, do you have anything to add to Dennis's statement?
Well, I think the onus here, like Angela said very well, is on the applicant, and we can get most everything in digital form now, and that's the real time saver right there. And this is not a lot of work. I mean, Laura does this in a short time frame. It's a complicated process if you've never done it before, but Angela knows how to do this. And I'm all in favor of moving to more digital. I'd like to buy Selectmen and Planning Board full-size laptop. That'd be fine with me. I'm not in favor of delivering hard copy packets to everybody, but I'll do it, especially in the cable situation, if necessary, if it'll help. But certainly doing more digital is the benefit and the reduction in man hours.
Thank you, David.
I think the key is what Gary just said, is that we change the rules and have the applicants deliver everything properly formatted digitally. And that way you take the onus off of Angela or anyone else. It's just a matter of distribution then, rather than extra copying, filing, or collating, or anything else.
As long as I got my paper.
Who would like, we don't have to vote on this is not, okay. Who would like to try this out? I will ask the planning board members. Michael would like to.
I'm never gonna use it, probably.
Who is zooming in on the planning board that would like to try an FTP site? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I know of one other. I'm not going to use it. I like my paper, but if the planning board feels they want to try it out at least, most certainly it seems like can do that.
Yeah, I don't think you need to make this any more of an issue. You've been around this for several months here. It's something we do every day, so let's just move forward and make it available. Some will use it, some will not.
Yeah. So, plan sets won't be emailed, they won't be mailed. Extenuating circumstances, there are options. If you can't make it in, but we're gonna try out an FTP site. That's what I'm getting tonight.
And could I just ask Kayla, give me a call and tell me when you're gonna need, some help getting the stuff to you.
Thank you, Gary.
Or let Angela know.
Good luck with the surgery, Kayla.
I have no other new business.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a second from Michael. Angela, whenever you are ready to do roll call vote.
David,
Thank goodness for you.
with Deborah, Kayla,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Edward,
Yeah.
Lori.
Yes. This meeting is now adjourned 8:01.